Up 22nd, you heard Joey Logano talk about the restart. Steve Burns caught up with Stewart after Tony went over to question and do more than that. Actually got a swing in there. Let's see what Steve Burns came up with.
Well, Tony, what angered you at the end of the race? What did you take issue with?
What the hell do you think I was mad about? Dumb little runs us clear down to the infield. He wants to about everybody else, and he's the one that drives like a little. I'm going to bust his ass.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.
I'm
going to bust his ass.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you. Joey spun the tires on the restart, and, everybody had trouble with that. So, but it's not my fault that he spun the tires. And for a guy that's been complaining about how everybody else is driving here, and then him to do that, it's a double standard. He makes the choice. He makes the decision to run us down there. And when you run a driver down there, then you take responsibility of what happens after that. So, he's a tough guy on pit road as soon as one of his crew guys gets in the middle of it. Until then, he's a scared little kid, and then he wants to sit there and throw a water bottle at me. So he's going to learn a lesson, and he can run his mouth on Twitter and stuff all he wants tonight. I got plenty of people that are going to watch for that, and but it's time he learns a lesson. He's run his mouth long enough. He sat there and done this double standard, and he's nothing but a little rich kid that has never had to work in his life. So he's going to learn with us working guys that had to work our way up how it works.
Before all that, man, you came storming up through there at the end of this race. It was just pandemonium at the end. Take us through the on-track action there.
I mean, we came in that one stop and got two tires and got an awesome restart on the outside that got us to third to begin with. So, I was proud of our restart. I was really proud of our team. Steve Addington did an awesome job, and these guys had awesome pit stops and made great changes all day. But I don't know what happened at the end. I think we had a tire going down, or if not, we got something else that actually happened. But, it started right before the caution, and then it was really bad afterwards. But still no excuse for Joey to do what he did. It's and just tired of watching these little kids whine, and then they sit there and act tough when their crew guys get in the middle of it. And it's about time. If NASCAR wants to let the guys have at it, it shouldn't be any different in hockey. Let us have at it, and then when one guy goes to the ground, then it's over.
Tony, he basically said after the race, he said, you know what, I blocked him. And he said early in the race, I wouldn't do that. End of the race, he would. Does that give him any excuse for that at that point?
He still takes the responsibility on himself. I mean, he has that right. He has the choice to do that. I mean, he's in control of his car, but if he ever turns down a cross in front of me again, I don't care what lap it is, he won't make it through the other end of it. If I didn't hit the chip, he wouldn't have made it through turn one to begin with. So, I'm tired of these guys doing that stuff, and especially out of a kid that's been griping about everybody else, and then he does that the next week. I mean, he's sent Denny to the hospital and screwed our day up. So, he's talked the talk, but he hasn't walked the walk yet. He's always got his crew guys walking the walk for him.
He said he wants to call you this week. Will you accept that phone call?
Hell no. If he wants to talk about it, we'll talk about it. So after he threw the water bottle at me like a little girl, we'll go at it now. I'm not going to listen. I got nothing. I don't care what he has to say. It's just words right now. Actions speak louder than words. I'm going to bust his ass.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.
Ralph?
Well, we're here with Tony. All right, Tony, your perspective, what happened?
The kid's an idiot. He wins one Busch race, and he's a cup driver now. He's done stupid stuff all year. He took us out at Talladega twice in a half a lap and kept us from finishing the race. And we're just following him in practice. I mean, I'm on sticker tires, and I'm just going to follow him into one. He was going in on the high side, so it wasn't like he was erratic on where he was going. But he never points down to the inside, and just all of a sudden checks up and just destroys the right front of our cars. So I'm just really curious what that idiot's thinking down there. I mean, I don't think he even knows what he's thinking. He doesn't do very many smart things out there. He wrecked Casey at Vegas, and he just is proceeding to be in everybody's way every week. So just kind of curious on why he thought he had to destroy the right front of our car today in practice and happy hour.
Tony Stewart, pretty frustrated, Marty. He had a very fast car in that practice set. Perspective, what happened?
The kid's an idiot. I'm going to bust his ass.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.
Perspective, what happened?
The kid's an idiot. I'm going to bust his ass.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you. Sorry we couldn't crash more cars today. We didn't fill the quota for today for Talladega and NASCAR. If we haven't crashed at least 50% of the field by the end of the race, we need to extend the race till we at least crash 50% of the cars, because it's not fair to these fans for them to not see any more wrecks than that and more tore up cars. I mean, we still had over half the cars running at the end, and it shouldn't be that way. I don't think any of the wrecks were an overheating issue. That's why I say I think we ought to just tape them off solid and run them until they blow up anyway. I think it'd make it a lot more exciting for the fans. If we don't crash half of the field by the end of the race, they really need to extend it, because I mean, that's what the fans want. They want to see that excitement. I'm upset that we didn't crash more cars. I mean, I feel like that's what we need. You know, that's what we're here for. I mean, and I feel bad if I don't spend at least $150,000 and tore up race cars going back to the shop. So we definitely got to do a better job of that. It would have been a lot more fun if I could have got caught up in one more wreck. If I could have done that, it would have been perfect. I mean, I think if we could make it a figure 8, it'd be perfect. It would absolutely be perfect here. It'd be better than what we got. So that's going to be my vote next week, is that we make it a figure 8, and/or we can go stop at the halfway, make a break, and turn around, go backwards the rest of the way. And then with 10 to go, we'll split the field in half, and half of them can go the regular direction, and half of them can go backwards. I'm going to bust his ass.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.
Perspective, what happened?
The kid's an idiot.
Tony not very happy.
Oh. Gosh, looks familiar. Well, we know what Tony thinks. That's a perfect strike.
That's a nice throw.
You just used one hand, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm right.
I think he's got both hands. Look at
The southpaw, too.
We were definitely faster than Matt after that restart. And checked up twice to not run over him, and I learned my lesson there. I'm going to run over him every chance I got from now to the end of the year, every chance I got.
You'll get that helmet back. Your aim was precise.
I don't give a crap.
Perspective, what happened?
The kid's an idiot. I'm going to bust his ass.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.
TW, well, speaking of Addington, can he help you here? Because you got to win here, but, man, you struggled here for the last several races.
All right, now I got hit on the other side, so that's why my volume's changing.
You got a lot of good friends down there.
I hope this is all I get roughed up today is before the race, not on the track here. What'd you say again?
Perspective, what happened?
The kid's an idiot. I'm going to bust his ass.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you. We've been friends for a long time, and I've driven for you for a long, well, actually I've driven for your wife for a long time. But, you know, a lot of times in the motorhome lot, we're parked next to each other, and wake up one morning and get on my uniform and get ready for practice and realize that I've come outside and it's 2 hours fast on my clock. And so I think Kevin has come in the night before and got in my clock, set it 2 hours fast. So this bus driver says that they're awake and inside and Kevin's getting ready. So I run inside real quick thinking that I was actually looking more forward to jumping in bed with Delana than I was seeing Kevin. Yet did I realize how bad of an idea it really was when I got there, because Kevin's in the shower, and instead of worrying about me jumping in bed with his wife, he's worried about taking his finger and covering himself up.
Perspective, what happened?
The kid's an idiot. I'm going to bust his ass.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you. But don't worry, it's all good. When this is over tonight, we're parked together in the same bus lot right next to each other like normal, and I'll come over, and Delana and I'll show you what more than 3 minutes really is all about tonight.
Perspective, what happened?
The kid's an idiot. I'm going to bust his ass.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.
Third straight race, there's been no wreck. I mean, does that amaze you? Have you ever seen anything like that?
David, only you'd think about stuff like that. I don't know about what you think of during the race, but I try to figure out how to win the race and make my car go fast. I don't sit there and think of that petty crap that you think of.
Press box.
Glad to see you're back to form.
Perspective, what happened?
The kid's an idiot. I'm going to bust his ass.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.
What's the situation like for you right now?
We have finished 18th or better. Same thing as you've known all week.
You talk about the pressure. Do you feel any pressure? Does this feel like a normal week?
The pressure is all the media standing here. I mean, we're doing the same thing we always do every week. It's you guys asking us the same questions for 8 straight weeks in a row is annoying as hell. So that's where the pressure's coming in, is because we're answering the same thing that we answered for the last 7 straight weeks. That's where it gets annoying after a while and gets to be very monotonous.
What should we be asking you?
I don't know. I don't do your job.
Well, I mean, I think that we
come up with something original.
This particular week, I think that's unfair.
Right. All right. Jenna. All right. Here's the thing.
This is
All I care about is what I'm doing this week. I'm not worried about what's going to make your article this week. So if it doesn't make my race car go fast, I really don't care about it right now. I got a lot of things going on.
That's fair.
Okay.
But you're in a position.
So ask me a question that's original this week.
I think that the question is the same this week because
Okay,
of where you are.
Then
in
go
the
back the
standings.
last 7 weeks and get the same answer I used the last 7 weeks.
You discussed last week.
Exactly the same thing I've been doing.
Okay.
You discussed last week that the one place you guys have some deficiencies is you need a competition director in order to get the overall scope to grow. Is that something you have to wait until the end of the season to do, or something you're working on every day?
No, definitely not. You definitely don't want to wait till the end of the season. See, this is original. This is somebody that's a good journalist because he actually knows how to ask something original here. But it's a good question, Marty, actually. It's nice to have that occasionally.
Perspective, what happened?
The kid's an idiot. I'm going to bust his ass.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I felt good in the car today. Just, it's still a long day here.
All right, you win again at the Brickyard. Tony, can you put this one in comparison to the last one?
This one's for every one of those fans in the stands that pull for me every week and take all the bullshit from everybody else.
Tony Stewart, your winner at the Brickyard. The last time he won here?
This one's for every one of those fans in the stands that pull for me every week and take all the bullshit from everybody else.
Oh, my goodness.
Poor Delana. That was unplanned.
See what had happened.
Anyway.
I'm going to bust his ass.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.
Damn it. Sorry, guys. Okay, boys. Yeah, we got a lot of damage. That fucking idiot tries to run us straight off the racetrack. I'm going to hold my line. Yeah, exactly what you're supposed to do. Don't worry about it. Chucky gave that guy room and he fucking cheap shot at me, that fuck. Sorry, guys. I don't know what I could have done different. That piece of shit.
Perspective, what happened?
The kid's an idiot. I'm going to bust his ass.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.
Tony's got a problem. Clear, no caution. Fucking Goodyear's fucking pieces of shit. God damn. Gets together with Gordon.
That wasn't even close. That's pathetic.
I tell you, I don't know what's wrong with that boy.
Let's get out trackside live. Join Matt Yoakum, who's with Tony Stewart. Matt?
Chris, a few random incidents starting with Bristol. And Tony, are people making too much about the on-track stuff, or there may be some hidden frustrations over the fact you haven't won yet this year?
There's no hidden frustrations. I think the people that are blowing it out of proportion are, Mike Joy and Larry McReynolds and Darrell Waltrip in the booth. Nobody else has been complaining about it. But Rusty and I talked when we saw each other, 2 days ago at the airport, and we were just kind of laughing about it and shook hands and went on. And, our fans at Sedalia, Missouri, and Knoxville, Iowa, that came out to watch us run the sprint car, they stood out in the rain for a half hour in the rain to get autographs. So, it's funny. I keep watching the replays of the race after I get home and listening to Darrell and Mike Joy and McReynolds. It's like you keep watching the screen waiting on Tattoo to come by in his little white tuxedo welcoming everybody to Fantasy Island.
Maddie, ask Tony. Tell him this is a reality show. And, what we just talk about, I told him this the other night when I was talking to him. We just talk about what we see, and the one thing we see is a common denominator of him involved with a lot of other folks. So, I mean, we're not picking on him. We're just telling what we see.
DW says, Tony, that he's not picking on you. He just is seeing what the video shows.
Yeah, I know. Darrell's memory kind of gets a little screwed up sometimes. I guess he forgets that with all the rule changes he wants NASCAR to make, he forgets that if they changed the rules and took the Champions Provisional away, he wouldn't have been able to race the last 2 years. So I know Darrell's doing what he has to do at his job, but I think there's a lot of times what you see on the screen isn't the whole total story, and I think they've done a real good job in the booth of blowing things way out of proportion like they normally do. I guess that's probably what they need for ratings, which I think our sport's doing a pretty good job of ratings without having to butcher up what they see on the screen.
Perspective, what happened?
The kid's an idiot. I'm going to bust his ass.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.
How much does this affect your chances of winning the 500?
I don't know, rocket scientist. I mean, I'm sitting here with a backup car. What do you think?
How much do you have to do to this backup car to get it ready?
Talk to Darian Grubb. I don't know. We got a lot of work to do. I mean, I'm ticked right now. I'm not happy. I'm not cordial. I'm not nice. I'm not anything right now, and I shouldn't be. If it was because two guys wrecked and it was something a driver's mistake, that's one thing. But a manufacturer that has the sole deal here, they don't have any competition, and they can't give us something to keep us from having problems like this. So I don't know.
Perspective, what happened?
The kid's an idiot. I'm going to bust his ass.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you. This one's for every one of those fans in the stands that pull for me every week and take all the bullshit from everybody else.